Welcome to TriggerTalk, your place for everything first-person shooters like Battlefield, Call of Duty, and so much more. I'm your host, Sage Goodwin, and as always, I'm joined by SammyBoiii. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Ready to talk some Battlefield. We're going to be talking about the campaign reveal trailer as well as the Portal content that we have seen so far. So let's jump in. I want to get started with the campaign first, just because I think we'll have less to say about it. They didn't give us a whole lot of details, but we do have a campaign trailer. It is going to have a campaign. Do you get the vibe that it's like the most generic military thing campaign?
Yeah, a little bit. Weirdly,
we're gonna claim Iraq, boys. Okay.
Weirdly, the premise of it I like, but I don't know if it's maybe like the execution of the story. I'm a bit. It just doesn't seem like. I don't know what it is. That part in the trailer where they're kind of like, yeah, this is the most strategic rock in the world for this war, and we need to claim it. And it's like, I don't know if we just didn't see enough. And don't get me wrong, the stuff about like the New York missions and stuff, that all really interests me. But yeah, I think the overall premise of like the NATO situation where these countries have left NATO due to some sort of conflict and then they form their own like alliance and stuff. I think that all sounds really cool. I think the general premise is cool. And I think if it's done properly, it could pay off, but I'm just concerned it won't be done properly because of all that sort of, not leak, but like the rumor that we heard a while back. And then even some of the creators that I've watched who got to play it, and it's very mixed. I saw some people saying it was really good. Some people saying it was like pretty bad. So it's hard to say. But yeah. For the weird thing for me with the campaign, I always really like the campaigns, but I also just, if this is a 1 out of 10, I'd straight just like don't care, to be honest. I'm here for multiplayer, and it's just like that little cherry on top where if it's a fantastic campaign, that's awesome, and I hope it is. But if it's not, like, I'll probably just knock it out and I'll probably stream it and just like stream the whole thing in one go. And if it's like, we'll just make fun of it on the stream, and that's about it. So yeah, it doesn't really bother me too much, but you obviously always hope that it's good, and yeah, it's hard to tell as of right now.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching some videos as well about this, and yeah, everyone just seems kind of like, yep, it's a campaign, which is kind of a shame because like Battlefield 1's campaign was so good, and I think we're all going to be comparing it to that because that was like the last kind of big FPS campaign that people really overall really enjoyed and played a lot of. And if you look at like the Battlefield, or not even just the Battlefield, the FPS shooter industry, specifically with like the data that Call of Duty has given us, very few people statistically play the campaign, but I think it's something that they kind of need to have, and I'm glad that that's coming. I wish they were doing a little bit more. This seems like, hey, we want to do stuff in like it doesn't feel like a super, this is good versus bad. This is kind of like we've started our own thing and now we're at odds with everyone, and now we have a very like advertiser friendly villain and hero, and you don't feel bad about playing one team or the other because both sides are bad and it's war.
Yeah.
And also we're gonna claim a rock. Where's the rock? We're not gonna tell you, but it's important and it's a rock.
Yeah, that's the vibe. I saw a lot of comments on the actual trailer on YouTube that were kind of like, why are we so afraid of putting Russia as the antagonist, which is usually the case in these games. Like, which to be fair, it is, I guess it's kind of unfair for Russia that they're always the antagonist.
They've earned it.
Like, yeah, it's like, that is generally how you go back to like the 80s in real history where like realistically America and Russia, and I guess now China, but like that's always kind of been the main conflict, even though there's not necessarily been an actual war. It has kind of, the Cold War is still kind of going, like that thing. There's always that tension between those two countries. And so I do think that like, yeah, they kind of, it's a bit of a cop out by not it doesn't have to be Russia. It could be some other random country. I think they were just afraid to. It's like too political nowadays to like pick a country, and even if they chose Australia and it's like Australia is the bad guy, like they don't want to pick one country and like single them out, which I sort of get because it's like, yeah, but it's also a game. If they picked Australia as the villain, I'd be like, hell yeah, that's awesome. Like,
look at this, we're fighting in Sydney, boys, let's go.
Yeah. Like it's not real life, so it doesn't really affect me personally, but I do also get that's a very different situation than like there is legitimate tension between America and Russia, and if they choose Russia as the bad guy, then blah blah blah. So I sort of get it, but it's just it does feel like I don't see Pax Armada as like the bad guy because there's countries in there that like they're just like regular European countries that I consider they are part of NATO right now. So it's like they're not our villain, they're not our enemy. So it's kind of weird that they're all of a sudden just like picking a group of them and they're like, hey, these are the bad guys, but they're kind of not bad, and America in this game is equally as bad. And it's I know what you mean. It feels a bit like not very brave, I guess.
Yeah, I wish they kind of like made a decision there. Like I think it would be great if they did that. I understand why they're not doing it, but like I wish that they kind of just said, hey, we're doing this. Because like part of the fun, and I don't know if this is a controversial take or not, but like part of the fun of playing like a World War I or World War II shooter is like if you know history, know that there is a terrible enemy. Like if you're going to be playing as the Germans, they are terrible. Yeah. And part of the fun, and I'm putting quotation marks on that, is this idea of like, you're supposed to feel bad about playing as the Germans in World War II. Like that is part of the experience. If you enjoy that, that's kind of on you as a person, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it just feels like, and it was similar to how they did it in 2042. I think this seems like they're doing it a little bit better than 2042, but in 2042, like I just felt there was no stakes because they just did the whole no-pat thing so poorly of like the non-patriated, and it's just, it doesn't make sense from a story perspective because like these are non-patriated, but it didn't seem like they were ever going against like you as like the no-pats you were going over like against other no-pats, right? Like not, we're going to go against this specific country that got rid of us from like a patriot perspective. Like this one does seem a little bit better, but it does still seem like, hey, we're kind of copping out from like a legitimate story here. And I think it's a shame considering the history that we've dealt with on like Battlefield's quality campaigns that we've seen before.
Yeah, because you go back to Battlefield 3 and 4, and like Battlefield 4 did have Russia and China as like, there was like a 3-way war in that.
Yeah.
And I don't see why that had to be changed. And obviously you go back, Battlefield 1 and then Battlefield 5 both had like the more historic campaigns where I think that's obviously easier to do because that you're just retelling history. So it's like, I feel like it's less of a concern about like offending people because that is literally what happened.
It happened.
Like you can't be like, oh well, they're picking on us Germans, and it's like, well, that happened. Like that is a real thing. So we're not saying Germans now are bad, but the majority of the Germans fighting back then were bad. That is just a factual truth. So it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. I'm still keen to play it, even though it's getting sort of like mixed reviews. I will definitely finish it and just see, just because I'm interested in just like, I think the thing about a campaign in these sort of games is just kind of adds to the multiplayer story. So then when I load into that map, I like kind of know what the conflict is. Not that that matters, but it just makes it slightly more immersive. Yeah. I think if you just load into a random like grey box map and it's the exact same layout, but there's no actual context to like what country you're in or anything, I think that could be a bit boring. Whereas if the locations are very, for example, getting like New York maps, that's so cool to me. I think that's awesome. And then having the context of like why we're fighting there makes it make more sense. Because as of right now, having played Empire State, I'm a little bit like, why are we fighting in New York? Like, do you know what I mean? I don't know the context. Whereas once I find that out, it just makes multiplayer a little bit more. It's not like it actually affects the game. It just kind of, in my brain anyway, it just kind of goes, oh yeah, this makes a bit more sense now. So I'm still keen to see how it goes, and hopefully it's fine. Even if it's like, honestly, if it's like 5 out of 10, I'll take that. I just don't really care. We get some cool moments and stuff, some memorable moments, then that's all I really need from a campaign, because they're sort of all like that. I think it's the same with Call of Duty. They're not, some of the old ones maybe, but like modern Call of Duty games, their campaigns are never like...
Black Ops 6, I enjoyed that campaign. I played through that one.
Yeah, to be fair, I haven't played Black Ops 6, and I have heard good things about
and that was fun too, because it was like set during the 90s, and it was like a lot of that like behind the scenes espionage aspect of things. So that one,
that stuff I do
really
love,
good.
because actually Black Ops Cold War's campaign, which obviously is linked as well.
Yeah,
I actually did enjoy that. I think the Black Ops ones have been better, to be fair, but the Modern Warfare 2019 was okay. It was like, it was fine.
Modern Warfare kind of has a little lackluster the last few times.
That is what looks wrong about this one. It looks like a Modern Warfare story.
That is a good point. Yeah, because they're kind of making it up instead of like grounding it in something that feels pretty tangible, and if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's the thing with the Black Ops stories, is they all do link to like the actual, even the modern ones, they still have that like Cold War aspect to them. Yeah. Whereas the Modern Warfare ones, it is just a straight made up story. And I think you have to be a bit more like, I don't know, you have to make something that you could really see happening. Do you know what I mean? Like, make a modern... I kind of hope with this, or I hoped with this, now that we kind of know it's not, I hoped that this campaign would be like World War III, like the world just kind of gone into chaos, and that's why we're fighting in New York, and there's leaks of the LA map and stuff. Like, that's what I would love to see. That's something that the original Modern Warfare games did really well, that we actually got World War III in that game. And like, that made the stakes feel, even though it's still unrealistic because it hasn't happened, it was kind of like, damn, this is what World War III would be like. We'd be fighting on the streets in America. Like, that to me was really cool. Whereas, I think the recent Modern Warfare series is a bit more, I guess it's probably more realistic, really, but it's just the stakes aren't as high. That's kind of the issue with it. Whereas the historic shooters, the stakes of like D-Day, it's pretty high. So it's like, I think that's why they land so well, because the stakes of World War II were genuinely like the biggest stakes ever.
Shattering.
So I think that's the main issue in it. That's the thing I have a concern about with Pax Armada, is that they don't feel like a threat. Do you know what I mean? If it's just like 10 countries have left NATO and formed their own thing, but there's still like 100 plus countries in NATO, and there's still America, and it's like, obviously Pax Armada ain't winning that. Do you know what I mean? The stakes are not there. Whereas if it was a proper just World War III, and the world's just like split into two pretty much, and it's a full-on war, then I'd be like, oh, I want to see what happens here. Like, I want to see fighting on the streets of New York that's not just like espionage stuff. It's actual, like, we are trying to invade New York, and you have to stop, we're stopping them from invading New York. That'd be cool. But we'll have to wait and see in terms of how those stakes feel, I guess, because it's hard to tell from just a trailer.
Yeah. And like I said, they didn't give us a whole lot, so... We'll have to judge it as we get closer, but it wasn't that punchy kind of campaign trailer I expected it to be, and maybe that's just because they've set the bar pretty high historically with those, but I don't know. It didn't hit as hard as I expected it to. Especially considering how grounded the multiplayer feels. Yeah,
I think that's the thing to me, is that it felt, the multiplayer feels like it is kind of like World War III, but then... Like, we're fighting in Egypt and stuff like that. Just looks really cool. But then, I don't know what it was. I personally would have loved to see some war stories of an actual World War III. And you just go to different locations of like, here is Russia invading New York, and we have to defend that. And that's that little story. And then you get, one in Egypt where we're fighting over a really important part of the world and stuff. Like, that would have been cool. But I'm also kind of keen to see like just a through line from start to finish where we're with the same crew and stuff. I think that's not necessarily bad. I just think War Stories have been... I kind of thought they were onto something there, where that was like their little niche cutout of how to do a campaign compared to like Call of Duty and stuff. But, yeah, maybe they'll bring it back in the future.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. I think it's going to be interesting to see what ends up happening on that front. But going on to the Portal stuff, because I think we covered all the stuff for the campaign. Portal, man, what a change Portal is now.
Yeah. It looks... I think this is like what we thought 2042 Portal was going to be, pretty much. Mm-hmm. It actually looks... Yeah, it looks really promising, which, to be fair, like, the last version of Portal did too. I remember you and I specifically were like, that was probably our most excited...
Yeah, I mean, most of my time when Battlefield 2042 came out was in Portal.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know, I think they're hopefully onto something here. I think just that addition of, like, the Halo Forge-esque elements, that to me is, like, that'll take it to the next level. It's just whether, again, it can land and whether people want to play it and stuff. I think with those added areas, it can provide more of a reason to go and play, because you're playing on maps and stuff that you've never seen. So there is actual different like content there. But yeah, again, we'll have to. I'm gonna reserve judgment until like maybe even like January, once it's been a few months and we can actually see how it's landed, because it might still be phenomenal tools, but just like no one plays it, and so yeah, we'll have to wait and see how that pans out.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see kind of like the community built around this, because like Portal in 2042 was just like a catch-all for anything they didn't put into the main game.
Yeah.
And there were a few kind of fan-created things, but it didn't have the legs of something like a Forge does. Like a friend of mine puts on a bunch of Halo LAN parties, and we get like 20 to 25 people together, and we all play Halo. And it's awesome. All together in the same house. It's fantastic. It's pizza and all that. And a lot of the times we're playing Forge modes. We're playing Run from Barney, or we're playing... we had one that was like a Star Wars themed Escape the Death Star and Arena, and like all of these things. Like Darth Vader's chasing you and you're trying to escape past like doing parkour out of the Death Star. So fun. And that community is incredibly vibrant thanks to like the Master Chief Collection and all of that fun stuff. But this gives me hardcore Halo Forge vibes. Like this feels like it has the potential to really showcase something new in Battlefield, and something that I think a lot of people can get behind, because like this makes a point for this makes a point for Portal, because I think that was what 2042 struggled with, is like Portal in 2042 was such a different piece of the game that it was kind of too many things at once. And this announcement makes me question their continuation of that idea of, oh, Portal, if you want a server browser, just go to Portal. Like this makes that decision so much more weird, because like most of all of the Portal modes are going to be like Forge, which is let me create my own map, let me create my own mode, let me do all of the granular details and settings and adjustments on that side of things. Let me do that first, rather than like, oh, I just want to play vanilla blah blah blah. Who's going to want to play vanilla blah 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 when you could create freaking CSGO or anything like that in Battlefield? And it just makes it really weird for them copping out of, oh, we don't want to add private servers or server browser or persistent servers. Like, just do that in Portal. Like, it makes that decision so much weirder, because Portal is now so much more than just this kind of catch-all for what they forgot to put in the main game.
Yeah, I just can't wait to see, like... I really hope it does catch on. That's my main thing with this. I really hope that... And I think that, like, if this game does live up to the hype that we have with it, even, like, I don't know, 80% of that hype, where it's a really good game, and in 10 years we're looking back, man, I remember Battlefield 6, that was a great game. I think that this could potentially be the modern day equivalent of Battlefield 4, in the sense that like people still play that, and it's still got the custom servers that people own, and like the rental servers and stuff. This could be the 10 years from now version of that, where the game's dead. There's maybe even 2 extra Battlefields out since then, but like maybe one of them sucks, and then everyone just kind of comes back to Battlefield 6 Portal, like we sort of have done with Battlefield 4, where that seems to be the default one that everyone goes back to. Mm-hmm. I think if it lands, and if people just are able to use the tools and it all goes smoothly, then I think it could be something really special, because this is the type of thing where I can really see myself with 2042 Portal. I never to me, it was a bit like, what is the point in me playing that when I can just play actual multiplayer? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It was just like different rules, and it's kind of like some of them were fun, but it was, for the most part, I was just like, well, I've got an hour to play. Am I going to play some random weird little game, or am I going to play Conquest? I'm probably going to play Conquest. Whereas now I do feel like with the ability to have so much different stuff, where I've seen like clips of racing jets through like tunnels made out of mountains. Like one of the clips they showed us in this preview was like, with the spatial editor, they essentially took mountains from Liberation Peak and like formed a tunnel out of them, and just by like flipping those mountains to then be like on the ceiling of the map. So then you're essentially flying through like a cavern, really. And it just looked insane. And so the thought of like actually starting a live stream and we're doing races and stuff, that's something that wasn't really a thing in 2042's Portal, like, because I don't know, it didn't have the actual staying power. There was certain modes like that, but then it's just on the regular map. It's just like, you can kind of do that in Conquest, really. Me and my squad mates, we could just grab a 4-wheeler each, and just in the middle of an actual Conquest game, we could just race to the other side of the map. Like, you can already do that, but now that we can full change the map and everything, to me it adds a bit of a, I don't know, just like a reason to play it, because I'm like, well, I can do a race, but I can also, this map looks really cool. Or there's that one where the people are climbing up that big tower and it's like a race to the top. Like, that looks fun. That looks like on a live stream with my community, that would be so much fun. And so I think that if they land this properly, it could be something like really special that I think I'll be honest, I kind of expected that for 2042, but now in hindsight, like, they just didn't support it properly. And I think if they land it properly and then support it with Battlefield 6, this could be like the next Halo Forge, where we're still playing it in 10 years, and there's some of the stuff people are going to come up with will be insane. Like, the stuff they have showed off is crazy, but the thing is that the community always outdoes developers within like a week. Like, there'll be something in a week after launch that we're like, what on earth is this? Like, this is crazy. They've made a whole extra game in Battlefield. Like, it's going to be insane. So yeah, I'm really keen to see how it goes. I hope it's all stable and everything, and I just think it could be really special if it's done properly.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see, hopefully, how like a community comes together around this. Like you're saying, this could be the perfect, I hop on my stream and get a bunch of people together and do that kind of experience. Mm-hmm. The only problem is, like, DICE needs to figure out how to have more than 3 friends consistently.
Yep. You need to be able to like do what we did in Battlefront 2, where you just you can get a full team of like 32 people. You can have 32 people in your like squad.
Yeah.
When you're about to search for a game, and then once you get into a game, it just filters out into groups of 4. That's something that is definitely important. I guess with the server browser, like the persistent servers, maybe it'll fix it for us in terms of, say I'm streaming, I can just tell everyone in the stream to join my server. But like, if I'm just playing with friends, that's obviously not possible. It's not as easy. So yeah, that's definitely one thing that I think they've failed with in Portal in the previous iteration anyway.
Yeah, I hope that we can get kind of like a furthering of that system that kind of just, I mean, it would need a whole revamp because they just haven't been able to do that since like 2015. Like, because in like, could you do it in Battlefront 2017? I know you could do it in 2015.
As in get all the like a full team. Yeah. Because I used to do that on stream. That's what I mean. Like that, even that in the base game, I have such fond memories of playing with a whole community. I would have literally 20 stacks every game.
Oh yeah.
And I think we had some sort of like 145 wins straight in Galactic Assault because we just played in the 20 stack and like that.
Amazing.
I don't know how that's not possible in Battlefield, which to me Battlefield is more community driven than Battlefront. Like Battlefront, the pull there is the Star Wars thing. Whereas Battlefield, to me, the pull is the community. The community vibe of this game is like something that I don't think that many other games do to the same level. So it is crazy that you can only get in a squad with 4 people, and then it's like, well, we just gotta hopefully join the same server as our other 4 friends that want to play together. Like that is kind of wild. You should even just be able to maybe somehow like link squads or something, so you can join a squad of 4, so you can like organize the squads yourself, and then like send an invite to a bunch of people where your squads are now like linked or something. I don't know how to do it. To me, it's literally as simple as just invite as many people as you want, up to 32, because that's the maximum per team. Because obviously, I mean, even you could do 64 and it just auto kills into the other team.
Yeah, exactly. I think you should support it fully based off of your modes, not based off of some arbitrary number that you kind of pulled out of the air. Because if we could do this freaking 2017 is what, 8 years ago? 8 years ago you can do this, but you can't do it now that we have even better technology. Like, I don't understand why we've gotten to the point where like you could do it in Battlefront 2 2017 and you can't do it now. Like, I think especially, I mean, we've talked about this in just like the base game, doing it that way. I would love to see further expansion into that. And I think, like you said, Battlefield is core as like a community-minded experience. There are people that are currently playing the Battlefield 6 like feedback sessions that have been in the community for longer than many of the developers have been working on these games and are called Battlefield friends. Like that is indicative of the type of community experience that Battlefield 6 and Battlefield as a whole has had, and I think Battlefield 6 should have.
Yeah, you don't have that with Call of Duty. You don't have like, there's no equivalent of that. I don't know any of the individual devs at Call of Duty other than like the leads for each studio. Whereas like I literally know personally multiple Battlefield developers just because they're part of the community. They tweet, they talk about the game. I just feel like this game just does that so much better than, if I'm honest, I don't see any others that do that. Like, I think Battlefield does it better than literally everyone. I don't know any other games out there. Obviously, I don't play, I don't know, Counter-Strike and Valorant. I don't know if they do that sort of stuff. But, like, maybe Fortnite is the only other one where they've got, like, creator skins and they do a lot of stuff like that. I don't know. But that's different because that's, like, on a whole other level. But I don't know. I just think that they should almost build that out as their niche. Like they're not going to just go band for band with Call of Duty in making like a regular military shooter. Like Call of Duty will always outsell them, but make your niche that you're a community game. Like that should be their thing. And it sort of always has been, but I think they can sort of buy into that a little bit more, to be honest.
Yeah, and I think that if you really want to build this community, and if you really want to have like if you want to have like the Battlefield equivalent of Forge, which you've already got the tools built into, like I think you need to support the community aspect, and I think that experience is going to be core to having the community.
Yeah, 100%.
But again, we'll see. I'm really hopeful. Like, did you expect that we would get a Portal like this? Like, I knew we knew that Portal wasn't dead, but we also heard of the new experience. But we also were like, what kind of shape is this going to take? Was the question we were all asking.
as of before the LA event, I genuinely didn't think we were getting Portal. I thought like they tried it in 2042 and that was done. And it just didn't do well. They would just drop it, just like they've sort of done. Firestorm didn't work. They didn't do it in the next one. I thought it was going to be that, and then we kept hearing those rumors like, "No, they are still working on Portal," and I was kind of like, "What's the point? It's not gonna." I don't know. If you do the same thing as 2042, it's just not going to work. And I think that I think one of the main issues is that 2042's version was almost like a way to bring back old content. That was like what they saw it as. It's like, oh, we can put Caspian Border in here because it's old content. Whereas now they're just putting that in the main game. That's how it should be. They shouldn't add content to Portal. They should just add content to multiplayer and then it's in Portal. And so I think once we started hearing more about that, we're like, oh, we're actually getting Operation Firestorm in regular Conquest. Then I started to go, okay, now this actually might be sort of onto something, because if you just make Portal the tool itself rather than in 2042 it was like a separate mode where you could that's the only place you could play Caspian Border, and that's the only place you could play these maps, which to me, like in hindsight, that's wild. That is absolutely wild to bring back classic maps and then they're like, but you can't play this in multiplayer, you've got to play it in Portal. I think that's where the divide came in, because it was like, well, I don't really want to play Portal, but that's where there's a cool map there, I'll go play it, I guess, but it just didn't feel like official. Mm-hmm. And I think now that they've sort of removed that weird barrier, and it's just like, realistically now it is just a tool set. I think that's where this hopefully will be done a lot better than 2042. So yeah, I didn't expect it to be like this. And once we saw that initial trailer that they showed at LA, I was like, damn, okay, they've doubled down on it. They're actually going all out with it. So yeah, it's once again one of those areas of the game that it might be my most anticipated, just to see how it goes, which is funny because we said the same thing in 2042 and then it was kind of like a flop. But I know that multiplayer is good. I don't need them to prove to me that Conquest is good, because we've played it. I played like 40 hours in the beta. Like, I know that it's good. And now I'm kind of like, okay, well, that part of the game's good. What's the BR going to be like? What's Portal going to be like? I don't really need to know what the campaign's going to be like, because I think, like we just touched on, I'm sure it'll just be fine, and like it's just a small part of the game. But man, if they can land Portal and this BR to the same level that they've seemingly landed multiplayer, we're looking at an all-timer. Like, I think this is potentially an all-time great Battlefield game if they can actually land that, because it's, if the multiplayer is anything to go off, unless just like the BR is just like a different game and it just sucks, like that's a different thing. But based on the actual gameplay and all of that, if it all blends together nicely, like, yeah, this additional content is what I think can take Battlefield to the next level, because at the end of the day, it is a somewhat niche experience compared to the games like Call of Duty and stuff, where I think that's why it's never done that level of success that Call of Duty's done, because it's like, it is just a bit more niche with the slightly bigger maps and the bigger modes and vehicles and stuff. Mm-hmm. But once you add this more like community stuff in there, like there'll be people on Twitter that I follow that are not Battlefield creators who are going to see some of these Portal modes and they're going to be like, I need to stream and play that right now. Like, it's going to be, I think this is going to be that type of thing where it's like, it draws in the broader community, and I think that's something that Battlefield needs just to get its foot back in the door, I guess. And yeah, if they can land it, and especially the BR as well, I think that, like, based on some of the sort of leaks that have come out over the last few weeks, that looks kind of crazy as well. So yeah, it's all really positive. I'm just still trying to be I'm confident now about the multiplayer, but the rest of it I'm just trying to be skeptical again, because I'm like, I don't want to get too excited. And at least we know that the multiplayer seemingly, unless it just launches busted as for some reason, I don't know how that would be possible at this point. But yeah, I just feel pretty much fully confident about that. So I'll take that for now, and we'll just see how the rest goes. I'm definitely excited for it all, but Just need to get hands on. It's not long now, man. It's what, a couple of weeks away. It's crazy.
It is kind of wild that we are getting this close to it. And we were talking about this before we recorded, that it's kind of odd the strategy that they're making right now, which is we're going to talk about the campaign and then also at the exact same time talk about Portal. So I do think it's interesting that that is kind of the route that we're going in here. But I think it's also pretty cool that we're getting like this kind of very rapid style exploration into Battlefield 6, because it seems like we didn't know a whole lot and now we're getting everything, and it's really exciting. And we've also got like Battlefield Labs is still going on. We've got the Battle Royale. We've got the that experience, and we've also we've got the campaign. We've got regular multiplayer. We've got like all of these things that are happening is kind of crazy. But I do think it's interesting when you look at kind of Portal's experience here and what that's going to look like.
Yeah, I feel like they're definitely going to start, based on just the budget that they've clearly shown for the marketing already. I do think the next few weeks will probably be pretty crazy. I feel like there'll be more trailers and all that sort of thing. I'm hoping we get some official BR stuff, because like there's been a lot of leaked stuff. There was leaks that it was potentially launching October 28th, which is like absurd. I thought this would be like March next year. I didn't think it was anytime soon. It's like apparently like 2 weeks after launch is coming out. So
interesting.
I hope that, yeah, man, I would love to see an official BR sort of reveal, and yeah, just give me all the content in the lead up. I need some sort of Battlefield 6. I don't know. I need it in my life. That's 2 weeks is too long to wait.
Hey man, you got to play it more than I have in the time frame. You got to play it like 2 weeks ago. Like, you can't complain. What the heck, man? You got your fix already.
I think that's part of why, because I had the taste again, and I'm like, oh man, I kind of almost wish I didn't get that, because now I was like doing fine. I'd gotten over that like withdrawal period, and I think after playing it again, I'm like, oh damn it, they put me back in.
Yeah, you lucky bastard. Poor you. Poor you.
What I need is 1 week from today, Ghost of Yotei comes out, and that will just delete a week for me, because I'll be just
you're about to be time traveling.
Yeah, I'm gonna just get to next week, and then I'll blink and it's launch day for Battlefield 6, because that game will tide me over. So yeah, it's not long now. It's always these last few weeks that feel so long. Like, we've been waiting years for this, and now we're like so close, but it just feels like we still have to wait years. It's frustrating.
Yeah, but like, well, we'll see how all of it goes. What do you like? We're, like you said, we're a couple weeks out. You've got the withdrawals. You're back in. You're about to be time traveling. Like, what's the vibe check? What's the vibes?
Honestly, just pure excitement for me. It feels like I've been really waiting for this specific game for like a long time, especially not only as a fan, but like as a creator as well. I've talked to you so much about this, where it's like I've just had such bad luck over the last pretty much 5 years now, with just games getting like, a game looks really promising, and I think I can like settle into that as my game to cover, and then it just gets deleted, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, Battlefront got cancelled, Star Wars Hunters got cancelled, X Defiant got cancelled. Just so many games. The finals that's still going really well, but like viewership wise dropped off heaps. Yeah. I just need a game, like, and I know for me Battlefield kind of has worked in the past, so I think as a creator, that's where I'm the most excited, that it's like, finally I've got a consistent game to play. I know this game isn't going to get shut down in January, you know what I mean? Whereas X Defiant, I had a lot of fun with that, but I always knew like, this is it's a free shooter. It's unproven. It could flop. I don't see this flopping, because even like 2042 didn't. Well, and obviously it flopped, but it didn't. It still had a 2.5 year live service. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's just exciting to me knowing that I've got something to like latch onto and really lock in content wise, because that's something that I'm obviously a gamer. I love just playing the games themselves, but the content side of it adds so much more to it for me, where I get even more excited to like wake up and not only just play the game, but then I enjoy the content process as well. So yeah, man, I'm just like, it's really like that. It's the night before Christmas kind of vibes as a kid. I'm just like, hurry up, please let me get there. I just need it. I just need this game to come out. And yeah, with that being said, it's like this is the last few weeks of calm for me. Like this is the last period I'll have for a long time where I'm actually just kind of chilling. Because even next week, Ghost of Yotei comes out. That's one of the biggest launches of the year for the gaming channel. So realistically, I've got about a week of just chilling, and even when I say chilling, I got a lot to do, but like there's not as much pressure. Whereas like once this game launches, then it will be just absolute chaos for pretty much like years. Like it doesn't really slow down unless they're gonna do 2042 post-launch content where it's like 5 months between the season. Then I'm chilling. I'll just sit there and do nothing for 5 months. But yeah. I just can't wait, man. It's just exciting that we finally. This is like the Battlefield that I think 90% of the play base has just wanted since like Battlefield 4, and it's been like a decade or more, really. So it's just exciting that we're finally here, and hopefully that's all I hope is just hopefully it actually pans out well. It doesn't launch really bugged and have bad reviews and stuff. I just want a steady launch, and then I feel like from there we'll be good.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm really excited to see where we're at. I'm excited to have kind of like that core game because it's been a while since we've had that. Like you said, all of these games have either come up, either been fun, fall off, don't have enough support, isn't quite the game we're looking for long term, but Battlefield historically has been that game for me that I like will consistently pick up, jump in, hop out, jump back in. Like it has been that for me in the past. And I'm excited for it to be that for me again. I'm really looking forward to this launch. And like you said, as long as they don't screw something up, which is still very likely, even a couple weeks out. And then there's always the continued live service aspect. Will they be able to like keep up that momentum? Because you can't just release a game now. You have to like release it. It has to be good. You have to support it. But I think if we get the campaign, we get Portal, and we get the main experience, that's a good amount of time. And then also we've got the Battle Royale that's coming. And I think we're getting a pretty robust experience within Battlefield going forward, and that's exciting.
Yeah, that's for me, that is my final concern about this game is just the post-launch stuff. I hope it's not a repeat of 2042. And even like Battlefield 1 had the same sort of issue where it was the content itself was good, but like it was just a bit slow. That's really the only slight concern I have where I need them to prove. They've sort of proven to me with the beta and everything that I think this is a good game, and they've earned a bit of trust back. They seem to be listening to us and actually doing it this time. They've always listened, but they don't always act on it. So they've earned a bit of trust back on that side of it, but realistically, I need to see the seasons. I need to probably see 2 to 3 seasons consistently, and then I'll, know what to expect. And that's when I think if they do 3 seasons in a row that are really good cadence of content, then I'm like, all right, I think this is an all-timer. Like, I think this could be a great Battlefield game. But yeah, that's the only slight concern I have is like, I don't want a Halo Infinite situation. That would kill me. If it launches really well and we're all happy and then it's dead after launch, it'll be like, man, that will hurt more than 2042, I think, because 2042, like you could tell immediately, like, oh, okay, this ain't it. Like this game, I had fun with it, but it wasn't what I was looking for. But when you get a game that you are looking for, but then they kind of kill it post-launch, that to me, it hits like a dagger. Like that was kind of the thing with Battlefront 2 that we've been through that where like they turned that around and it was in a good spot and then they like to kill it off and it's like, oh man, we finally had it. Why did you do that? And that's my main concern with this is like, don't give me all this hope and excitement and then in this time next year we're like, man, what went wrong with Battlefield 6? I think that might be the nail in the coffin for the franchise if that happened. I don't know if I'd ever feel the same about Battlefield if they did that, because then I could never trust them moving forward, because they've always been good with the live service for the most part, or at least like post-launch fixing the game, and they always turn it around. But if they launch one good and then do the opposite, then I think I'll be like, well, what do they offer moving forward? They can't launch games, they can't do the post-launch, so what? I just can't ever trust them. So a lot of pressure on DICE, in my opinion, even though not just DICE, all of the studios, they've proven themselves with the initial product, but there's still a lot of pressure. They have to get all of this right, and they have to keep listening, they have to keep fixing issues and all that. And if they just do that properly, they don't have to do it to a 10 out of 10 level, but just do the best that they can, and I think we'll be good. But yeah, we've been burned in the past, so I'm trying not to get too excited.
Yeah, even at this point, we kind of have to manage our expectations, because we've seen this happen quite a few times with them. And there's always that fear of like, if this launches well, will they not have is it the fire up their butt because they released a game poorly? Is that why we get consistent updates? Or is it the fact that they're really good at those consistent updates? And I think this is like, if this launches well and we don't get the same level of consistency, it's actually just the only reason that they keep it up to date with this live service continuing upgrades is because they've historically only put out lackluster games, rather than, no, they're actually really good at that. So again, we will see.
Yeah, I think a good element to this is that COD is releasing not long after, so they have to keep this up, because they immediately have got competition. Even Arc Raiders launches like 20 days later. That's obviously a different type of game, but it's a lot of their old developers are over there at Embark cooking up at the finals and cooking up with Arc Raiders. So I hope that they launch, it all goes steady, and then these other games around it start coming out as well, and they go, all right, we've done well. That's phase 1 complete. We launched a good game. Everyone's happy. Now there's competition. Now let's absolutely lock in and keep it going for years. And yeah, I'd say I'm more confident than I have been for a long time now. But that's that's not the greatest measuring stick, because I don't feel like I need to explain what I mean.
We all know.
Yeah,
yeah, we all know. But let us know your thoughts in the comments below if you're watching this on YouTube, or contact uplinkpodcast.com if you're listening to this wherever you find podcasts. Would love to hear your thoughts on like this release. It's getting really exciting. We're really close. We're getting there. We'll be talking about our experiences in the game very soon. So look forward to that. Stay subscribed, and check out SammyBoii's YouTube channel. He's got some great content going on there. If you're into Star Wars, check out Star Wars Uplink. And as always, we'll see you later, video gamers.